Hello, I'm Sally Biddulph with the Good Morning Britain headlines for London. As you've been hearing, 11 people have been arrested on suspicion of murder after a man staggered into the reception of a hotel in Camden last night and died. Police and paramedics were called to Euston Street at around 11:15. The man had been stabbed. The 11 suspects are being held at separate police stations.
Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Poncho, back at you again with another video. Now, this next story that we're about to get into takes place in Camden, London, where a stabbing had took place on the shooting of a drill music video, which was literally minutes away from one of the busiest train stations in London. The trial is still ongoing, so I will keep you guys updated throughout the trial as much as I can. But what we've got to realise before we get into the story is the fact that this took place not in a specific estate, but the fact that it was near one of the busiest train stations in London. It really does go to show how much of a problem we really do have. Like, this isn't taking place in a little estate where, gang violence might be happening. This is literally happening near one of the busiest train stations in London. And for you guys that don't know, Euston is actually one of those stations in London where you can actually travel to other cities in the UK. So it just goes to show you that we really do have a problem, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. So on the 18th of February 2019, police were called to the Wesley Euston Hotel on Euston Street to report of a stabbing at around 10:45 p.m. A music manager by the name Bright Akinlele, 22, of Abbeywood, South East London, had been stabbed by a hired killer in neighbouring Starcross Street. After the stabbing, he would stagger to the nearby hotel, where he would make it into the lobby area, where he would be screaming for help. A hotel worker who gave his name as Tariq said the victim died in the hotel shortly after he opened the doors, and he cried for help. He said, "I wasn't there, but I know a man came in bleeding and crying for help at around 10:30 p.m. He'd been stabbed and staff took him to a room downstairs. They rang for help and he bled out downstairs and unfortunately passed away." At the time, a Metropolitan Police spokesperson had come out to give this statement saying, "Officers attended along with London Ambulance Service and found a male. He was pronounced dead at the scene at 11:31 p.m. Inquiries have established that a male entered the lobby of the hotel from the street and then collapsed. Staff at the hotel immediately came to his aid, contacting the emergency services. The Homicide and Major Crime Command have been informed and cordons are in place and officers remain on the scene. 11 people have been arrested on suspicion of murder and are in custody at separate London police stations. Inquiries are still ongoing. It would be at this point also the Wesley's chairman of directors, Reverend Stuart Burgess, had put out this statement regarding the incident.
My understanding is that a young person was stabbed in a neighbouring street around the corner from Euston Street, and that he made his way into the bar lobby area of the hotel, where he tragically collapsed, and my understanding is that within an hour he had tragically died. I want to pay tribute to the police who responded incredibly quickly. They came to the scene and responded to the 999 call, and also to the staff, because obviously it was a complete shock to the staff at late last night, but they responded incredibly well, and I want to pay tribute to them. My thoughts and prayers go out to the family of the person who has tragically died.
Out of the 11 arrested were 4 men and 7 women, aged 19 to 28. All 11 arrested were then released on bail to return in March, pending further inquiries. And a post-mortem examination carried out on the 21st of February 2019 found the cause of his death to be a stab wound to the leg. I'm unsure whether these 4 were originally arrested, but at some point throughout 2019, Abdoulaye Cisse, 28, of St Norbert Road, Lewisham, Silas Loco, 27, of Tenderton House, Suffolk, Oliver Petts, 30, of Swifton Way, Bromley, and Tashawn Brewster, 31, of Kennington Park Road, Kennington, were all charged with Bright's murder. And with all 4 denying murder, the trial was to start at the end of January 2020, and more details would start to emerge of what happened on the night that Bright had sadly lost his life. So on the 27th of January 2020, it was heard in court that the murder was the result of a feud on social media, and jurors were told that Bright had become involved with a group of drill artists from Birmingham called 2-3 Drillas, and later become the manager of one of the rappers involved in the video shoot. Now, I'm unsure who he became the manager of, and if anybody does know, I'd appreciate it if you could let me know down in the comment section below. That would be massively appreciated. The court was then told that during the incident, the 22-year-old Bright wrestled hold of the hunting knife with which he was stabbed. He then fled to the foyer of the nearby hotel, where he collapsed and died. It was said that earlier on in the evening, the victim shot a music drill video at Digital Holding Studio in Deptford, and the second part of which was to be filmed in the Euston flat rented as an Airbnb B&B, where he was later stabbed. Prosecutor Simon Dennison QC said the attack was planned. He goes on to say Bright had been in a long-running dispute with twin brothers from the Aylesbury estate in Suffolk called Jospin and Elvis Mayamba. At the end of 2018, Bright had posted an online video via Snapchat that showed Jospin Mayamba being manhandled and disrespected by a group of people, and it appears that there was a war of words between them that continued in the early part of 2019. A few days before the murder on February 15th, Bright had contacted on Instagram the twins' older brother, Chris Mayamba, who was then serving a prison sentence at a prison in Nottinghamshire. Instead of resolving anything, they taunted each other, and it ended with a threat from Mayamba to Bright saying, "When stuff goes wrong for you or your friend's mum, just remember I don't do verbal." Mr. Dennison told the court both men threatened to use whaps. He goes on to explain this is a term for guns, and Bright was told he was in trouble before he replied, "I know where your brothers lay their head, so keep up this wicked chat." As friends of the Mayamba twins, the court heard Cisse, Loco, Pet and Brewster exchange calls and planned a retaliation attack. The prosecution accused Brewster of taking the knife to Euston and stabbing Bright, Cisse of being an assailant in the murder, Pet of driving the attackers away from the scene, and Loco of coordinating events over the phone. It was heard that Cisse and Pet were at the video shoot in Deptford, which was the first shooting location. He goes on to say the evidence will show that while he was there, Cisse had made a voice call to Jospin Mayamba, but Jospin Mayamba didn't pick up. Some minutes later, Cisse made a call to Silas Loco, who did pick up. The prosecution's case is that in the course of that call, they agreed that they would take the opportunity to punish Mr. Akilele, and they recruited someone to do it. We say that because in the course of that voice call to Loco, Cisse made a number of other calls that lasted only a matter of seconds, which suggests that he didn't get through. But then a final call that lasted longer. That call was to Tashawn Brewster, and immediately after that call, the events that led to the attack on Bright started to unfold. Bright was attacked almost immediately as he made his way up the staircase to the flat in Euston. Jurors heard that Mr. Brewster had travelled to Euston from his home in Kennerton, South London. The prosecution went on to say the stab wound to his right thigh had cut the femoral vein, which is a major vein carrying blood back to the heart. When cut, there is massive bleeding, and Bright left a trail of blood on his route from the flat to the foyer of the hotel where he collapsed from blood loss. The prosecution's case is that the person who took the hunting knife into the flat and who used to stab and kill Bright was the fourth defendant, Tashawn Brewster. The prosecution's case is that this attack wasn't a spontaneous outbreak of violence arising out of nothing, it was planned. The court heard Mr. Bruce's DNA was found later on the handle of the hunting knife, and more DNA evidence linked him to a pair of trainers stained with Bright's blood. And that is all the information that's currently out there surrounding the death of Bright Akinlele. And like I said, it is an ongoing trial, so I will keep you guys updated as the trial goes on. You know, this feud had started in 2018, right? And it just goes to show you that, you know, people do hold grudges, and just because a year or so has gone by, you know, things still can take place and people can unfortunately lose their lives. Now, granted, I don't know whether the feud had happened before the Snapchat video, but the Snapchat video did definitely add fuel to the fire. Now, Bright seemed like he had a really good career going, you know, he managed someone out of 2-3 Drillas. Again, if anybody does know who that is, I'd appreciate it if you can let me know down in the comment section below. Now, don't get me wrong, 2-3 Drillas are not massive, I know, but in the UK, you know, they've got quite a decent buzz, and to be a manager for somebody like that gives you a platform to be a manager for other people. But he sadly lost his life, and what you've got to remember is something on social media, you know, if it does catch up to you in real life, there is real life consequences behind it, and 4 people are potentially going to prison, and Bright has sadly lost his life. But let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. Give the video a little like. If you want the latest drill, street and music news out of the UK, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your boy 8 Poncho, and I'm out.